My name is Elise, and I am 71 years old. I currently live in the Texas Hill Country outside of Austin, Texas. It was at the end of January 2013 that I was officially diagnosed with CLL. The interesting thing was that I went back and looked at blood work and some other lab work. It was actually missed. And I've probably had it at least 2 or 3 years before that, based on what I could see in old blood work. Like many CLL patients, I was diagnosed without any symptoms, from just blood work that I was doing for another purpose. That is not an uncommon story among CLL patients. I think we all have a perception that when we get our cancer diagnosis, we either know we have cancer or we know we need to jump in and do something. But of course, with CLL, it's a totally different approach to the journey. The first thing that you think is, no, this has got to be a mistake. This is not true. I feel fine. I look fine. Why is this happening? This can't be right. And then I think as you start to get your FISH test back and some of the other blood work and the reality sets in, I was in watch and wait for almost 7 years, is a unique factor to a certain extent about CLL. To get a cancer diagnosis, a leukemia diagnosis, which is really scary for people, to get that diagnosis and then be told, we're not going to do anything. And when you ask the question, well, how long before treatment? It could be next year, it could be 10 years from now. So it's you're trying to make peace with the fact that this thing is growing in your system. You had no clue it was there, and now you're being told there's nothing we can do about it but just watch. It's really stressful, and it takes quite a bit of processing to even come to the point where you really accept that and you say, okay, I'm going to go forward. And that is one of the real challenges, I think, at the front end. So I continued with my community hematologist for quite a while, and one of the things that he said to me about a year or two in is, down the road, when it is time to consider treatment, you will probably want to consider clinical trials, and I don't have anything to offer you here where I am. One day I got there for one of my checkups at MD Anderson. My doctor there said, look, there's another trial here that you qualify for. And I went back and did some research, and I talked to my hematologist in Dallas, and he thought it was a good trial. So I was lucky in that I was offered a trial that I could see some data that was showing that it was very having a lot of efficacy in terms of putting CLL patients into deep remissions. And so then I started seriously considering it. There was about a 2-month collaborative back and forth discussion, looking at my blood work, etc., before both my doctor and I said, yes, let's go on the trial. What I learned through that is it's so important to be able to have that collaborative relationship with your doctors, because one thing that I've seen over and over again, and people come to the support group and say, my doctor is now saying I need to think about treatment. And here are 2 or 3 options this doctor has talked to me about. And because there's no one right path, it's really important to understand those treatments, how they will affect your life. All kinds of things kind of come up, and during that process of deciding what's the right way for you to go, for most of us, we have the time to have that collaboration, a few months with our doctors or whatever, to do the research. The collaboration between you and your doctor is a really critical part of coming to the right decision. I think that one of the things that's really important is for CLL patients to get a good education about what clinical trials are and what they are not. And I think it's a shame when they aren't even at least aware of the trials that they might have opportunity to participate in. In terms of mental health, it's important. People need to surround themselves with people that will help them have the best mental attitude about what they're doing and keep that hope that they're going to get better alive for them. It's just so critical. I believe that CLL patients are going to live longer and be healthier in those longer lives than we ever could have hoped, probably even 10 years ago. And everybody plays a part in that. Our care teams, the pharmaceutical companies that keep working to make sure that there are better and better treatments for us, our families who support us, other patients.